Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet, and we are going to be doing a 4v4 cast for the very first time. I've just done 1v1 by now, and we are going to be doing a 4v4. I had a look before the game. Most of these players are unranked. One is silver, so we'll see exactly how this game turns out. We have a look. There we go. So we've got the full production tab for all 8 players. I tried this with the UI I was using before, and it just did not want to work, but it is working now with the old UI. So let's go ahead and start casting this game. It's a little bit better. So when team 1, on the top right side we have Jeeves, the red Protoss. We have Cavallero, the purple Zerg. We have Will Ports, the teal Zerg. And we have Freem, the blue Protoss. And in team 2, and down on the bottom left, we have Hyperbolic, the orange Terran. We have Akuma, the pink Zerg. We have No Equal, the green Protoss. And we have Maverick, the yellow Protoss. So we'll see exactly how these guys do out. Just keep an eye on the production tab to see if we see anything crazy at the start. It doesn't look like it. Nobody seems to be fast expanding. They're all going for pretty standard stuff. Look like the blue Protoss is a little bit ahead of the game, already getting out his cybernetics core, while most of the other players are still on their standard buildings. Green is a little bit behind. He hasn't even got out of gateway yet, so there goes his gateway now. He's going to be playing a little bit of catch-up. And we do have a bunch of probes chasing away this SCV. Doesn't look like he's tried to build anything. But, yeah. He's getting a little bit of a scout off, and that's probably annoying. This guy's getting a little bit of a scout off as well. Getting a little bit of lag here. And my game doesn't like dealing with 8 players at the same time, but that's fine. Go ahead, a bit more scouting going on, so nothing really spectacular. Orbital command here, bunch of lings there. We'll see if any attacking units start moving across the map. Yeah. Looks like Team 1 over here thinks that Team 2 is rushing. I'm not sure if that is the case. If we have a look at Team 2, they're not really rushing by the looks of it. Yeah, I can't really say that much. Looks like they're just turtling in. Unfortunately, your turtling in only works for the first 5 or 10 minutes because there are no expansions inside this area. You have to go outside this area to expand, and once you're outside that area, that's where people are going to be attacking you. It's not inside, it's outside. Here we go, we have got a fairly fast Twilight Council, so we'd expect the yellow Protoss to be going for DTs almost certainly. Nothing really special for the other players. Got a Roach Warren coming down for purple, a couple of Forges, Baneling Nest for this player. So it looks like the bottom left team is going for some interesting tech choices. Or is this just another barracks? So here we go, what do we got down here? A couple of pylons. And the yellow guy, where's his Twilight Council? His Twilight Council's up. So I would not be surprised to see a Dark Shrine coming down any second from our player. Over here, this guy's building up a bunch of lings. He's going to have speed, and he's going to have a Roach Warren coming up soon. Meanwhile, I've just got a bunch of sentries. These guys are pretty much going standard over here. There we go, Mothership Core just pushing these guys away a little bit. See how that works. This guy may actually just be going for a large amount of gateways and just like Zealot legs or something like that. He may not be going for a super cheesy Dark Shrine. May just be going for legs, or maybe Blink Stalkers. He could be going for Blink Stalkers. But we'll see exactly what happens. Now this guy has a very large amount of fast lings going on. So we'll see exactly what happens. He's got a couple of Banelings. He's going to try and get a bust in here. No, wait, these Banelings are on this team. So they're not going to bust this down. In fact, they may be trying to go into Lings, and that would be very, very bad for Lings to try and attack those Banelings. He could lose, I don't know, a good percentage of them. So he's going to run around, and this entrance is wide open. Although the Banelings do get a couple of nice hits off, taking these down to about 10 or 12 Lings. They are going to take this hatchery down, but it might be a better idea to run through this gap and try and take some workers out, because right now they are just going to get slowly taken out. This Marine force is fairly heavy. You should be able to clean up all these guys here. We've got the purple Zerg going for Hydras. We've got the orange Terran going for tanks. We've got Void Rays coming over here. It's never going to be a decent 4v4 without somebody going mass Void Rays, just because they're so fun if your allies can protect you long enough to get a decent army. And speaking of a decent army, our red player is looking quite strong at this 8-minute mark of the game with this army. I'd expect him to be able to go in there and start doing some decent pressure. If we have a look at the army, yeah, look at that. He's the first player over the 1,000 mark. He's 58, so he's been doing very well this entire game. And the other guys are just going to have to keep catching up. Of course, these two players, this one and this one, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing because they're not really building much. Looks like this guy is going for Void Ray Tech. He's got the 2 Stargates going, and this guy is just going for an expand, but he hasn't built any units yet. He's relying on these guys to protect him, and yeah, it looks like it's these guys should be alright. I don't know if they'll be able to bust in. There's quite a lot of zealots here, and this guy could produce tons if he really wants to. He's really going forward, and he's got a very nice wall off here, so it's going to be very hard to attack these guys. And look at that, 3 forges. So he is going to be a very, very powerful player at the end of this game. But for now, there he goes. Beautiful use of the slow dome over there to keep those Banelings from coming in. But the Zealots get the flank on this army. I think he should still be able to knock this off because there was a bunch of roaches back there which is holding him off. So he's going to defend this, but the army has been whittled down. And they are going to have to deal with these Marines and tanks right now. However, reinforcements coming in, but I think the tanks should be enough to push them back. However, they did what they came to do. They took out the hatchery, and the Void Rays from our green player being revealed, coming out into the map, they are going to be able to do a bit of damage and just help to scare these guys away. So that's fine. However, like I said, they did the damage they needed to do. This hatchery went down, and it's going to be who can take out the expansions in this game. We'll see how that goes. Now, if you got anything interesting, more Void Rays from our green player. Blue player doing Void Rays as well. We've got the teal Zerg, looks like he's going into a Spire, and with this hatchery coming down, we can expect a fairly large Muta force from our teal player. Purple looks like he's continuing with the Grand Army, producing Hydras, speed for his Lings. Yellow Zerg looks like he's going to stick with his Gateway Force. Orange Terran looks like he's going to continue with his Grand Force with a focus on tanks, and I guess keeping up with the Ground Force of Marines and perhaps Marauders later on. Green Protoss looks like he's going to go Void Rays. And the pink Zerg, I'm not sure exactly what his plan is. He's going for Evo Chambers. There we go, there's a Spire, so we can expect a Mutiling force from him once he gets the gas on this expansion fully up and running, which we'll have to see because his expansion has been taken out twice so far, and I'm not sure. This guy seems to be a target for the enemy, even though they probably should be going for these expansions, which are a bit heavier to hit. Easier to hit, sorry. But these guys out for a defense. I'm not sure how many Void Rays the green player has. Doesn't look like that many, so he's not really in a position to provide a heavy defensive force. Yellow Protoss, well, he can build up an army in 2 seconds flat, so he should be fine. Meanwhile, look over this guy. This guy's still got that very decent army. And the Zerg, where's his decent army at? So it's not super decent, but he has got a Nidus Worm. So he may be thinking about a push over there. We've got a fair amount of Mutas over here. And where's the Void Ray force? There's this blue Protoss. He's a little bit behind where he should be. Hasn't even got the gas fully mining on his second base. So he really needs to start pushing that because you need 4 gas to be able to do full Void Ray production. If we have a look He's actually lacking a bit on minerals. If you have a look at the income tab, he's doing alright. He's doing better than some players, but for Void Rays you really need to be able to push it out. You can see the other Void Ray player has 44 workers, full gas mining and a lot of minerals, so he's going to be able to produce... Damn, he's actually producing 4 Void Rays at a time. That is just absolutely beastly. So this guy at the end of the game, I think he is going to be the one to take out. Although there are several good counters versus Void Rays, and this guy, if he keeps going Hydras, I think he should be able to take him out. And this guy, if he keeps going Stalkers, should be able to take him out. But this guy is going to be able to take out a large amount of bases very quickly. You can see he's going to swing around to the other side. He's actually going to try and defend this Teal player going in. Void Rays aren't super good versus Mutas, but he does have the numbers here. And this guy is not going to want to fight. He did some worker harass on the orange player, and now he just wants to get a quick scout off and then get out of there. I don't think he has any chance of doing any more damage with those Mutas, and he did lose about, I'd say, at least half of them in that exchange. So I don't know how worth it was. These guys are looking a little bit beat up, but they're definitely not wiped out in any sense of the word. So we'll see exactly how this game progresses. We've got a lot of Banelings coming out for this pink force. He still doesn't have the number of Mutas that I think he needs. He's only got 2 Mutalists. He really needs to get this gas mining. He really needs to start producing mass amount of Mutas, because you really do need a mass amount of Mutas in a 4v4 game. We're talking like 20 to 30 or so like that. At a yeah, that's about the number that you need to start being able to do some damage. But regardless, this player is doing very well protecting his bases. This one as well, doing pretty good job protecting his bases. Those guys should be fine. We do have a bunch of hallucinated Phoenix. They're going to try and get a scout off, but they don't think they're going to last long enough to scan all the bases. They're just going to wipe out as soon as they get to the end of the red player. So we'll see exactly. Here's an interesting thing. Yellow player going for Psionic Storm. Orange player going for Thors. Green player looks like he may be going for Carriers, or he may be just be putting that Fleet Beacon down to get 3/3 upgrades for his air. I would not be surprised either way. There we go, there's 111. He's not researching 222. Actually, maybe you need the Fleet Beacon to research 222. That may be what I'm thinking. So we'll see if he starts upgrading it. So the pink player going for an Infestor thing. He may be going for Infestors. He may just be going for tier 3 upgrades. What else have we got going on here? So the enemy, sorry, for team 1, I shouldn't be calling them the enemy because I'm on both sides here. He's just going for a massive amount of ground army here. He's got 2 weapons going on the way. He's getting 1 armor nearly up. The teal is just focusing on workers at the moment. He's going to get a nice mutaling force going on here, and that should be fine. He's got a decent amount of mutas, but the upgrades are not looking that good at the moment, so he's going to keep pushing those. Blue player, he's got a decent army of Void Rays out with 1/1 upgrades on the shield, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. He's doing alright, but he's not doing super well, as I think the green player may be. And red, he's just focusing on upgrades at the moment. He likes his ground army, he's going to keep focusing on it. These guys are going to come in, they're going to wipe out the 3rd base of the yellow player, which he put at the gold, and he hasn't actually started that harvesting yet. So that's going to be fine. It's going to give the bottom left team more than enough time to regroup and get in there. You do not want to send your forces in without some backup, because you guys are going to get wiped out. This is a fairly large Stalker army. You want to wait until all your forces are in there, all your teammates are in there before you go in. Here we come, and here comes the Void Rays. They're going to try and overcharge, take out these Stalkers like there's no tomorrow. Here comes all these Zealots. If he's got the High Templars in here somewhere, he could put down some Storms. They would do a massive amount of damage, but it looks like he is going to go in and wipe out these forces. This Stalker's trying to get a blink over there, but they can't see the other side of this protective barrier, so they are going to have to run out the front door. And that is going to be a huge loss for Team 1 over there, because that was a fairly large, fairly intimidating army, and it has been wiped out, and all they took out is a Nexus, so not going to be good at all. Here we come with this Zerg army trying to push the invaders away, and this Muta army, they're going to do I think, a fairly good job. Although the yellow player is going to take this opportunity to run his zealots in there, take out these workers. He didn't get quite as many as I thought, but I thought that was a good idea. However, this is not a good idea, sending those void rays in there. They're not equipped to deal with this army. Get out of there. You are going to get wiped out. This guy, he's put some more stalkers out. You're going to lose all your void rays unless you get out of there. So that was a bad decision by our green Protoss player. He just went in there too hard, and this army just macroed up again, took these guys out. We've got some lings going around here, just trying to work in some chaos, but they're not going to do much anyway. And meanwhile, over this side, the Terran player has seized this excellent opportunity to go in. He's taken out the third base of our blue Protoss player. He's going to try and take out the second, and the army is all over there, so they've got no choice. Basically, they're not going to be able to do anything. There is a fairly large Void Ray army, but there is 3 Thors and a whole bunch of Marines over there, so they're going to be fine. The purple army in here is going to move in. There's going to do quite a lot of damage, but he's getting bogged down by these cannons from both bases. A bit of reinforcements for the yellow player, but with the red player coming in, I don't think these are going to help, and I think that these 2 bases may go down. The Tempests come in, but their damage is just so abysmal. I don't think they're going to play any part in this battle. They're just going to have to run away. This orange army coming in, and with the help of these mutas, the blue Protoss is going to finally take out this army, but they have lost both 2 of their expansions there, and that is going to be very bad for the blue player. Although I don't know if he was going to if he was really going to be a major force in this game anyway. He was a bit behind, but he did manage to clear out those attackers, so I suppose he could go in and do some damage now. We've got some reinforcement in here. Here come the High Templars from our yellow player. Here come the Lings and the Void Rays. If he gets off some nice storms on these Stalkers, then I think he should be able to do good, but he's just going to sit back a little bit and defend the workers from this base. Tempest versus Locust. That's an interesting attack plan over there, but we'll see how that goes. Red player is going to expand over to here. He's not even taking out these rocks. He's just going to go in and get that Nexus down. So we're pretty much down to this. I think that Team 1 up the top right is at an advantage here. Yeah, we have a look at the army tab. So we've got all these players looking fairly high and these players not looking high at all. So I'd say as far as the army goes, the top right side definitely in a good position, and they're in a good position as far as workers go. Overall, the yellow player lost a very large amount of workers, so I think that puts Team 2 down here at a disadvantage. So we have a look at the tech now. The pink Zerg going for Broodlords, and I'm not sure they're really going to help at this point. You don't need Broodlords. You need I don't know, just build up your Muta force, maybe get some Corruptors in there or something like that. Corruptors would be a very good choice because there are quite a lot of air units on the other side. Meanwhile, we've got some Void Rays coming in here. We're going to take out this Nexus. You got to remember, guys, that you can move the Void Rays in there and just start wiping out workers. Void Rays just destroy workers as soon as they're close enough. But he is going to get away there, so it was a very nice snipe of that Nexus. Not much the red player can do about it because he does not have any air units. His Temper's going to come in and hit him from long range, and that is going to be a very nice tactic just to annoy the hell out of these guys. Meanwhile, we do have an attack down there. It's Muta forcing these Void Rays. The Void Ray is going to take out all these Thors, but the Marines are going nuts there, and I think they're going to take out all the Void Rays. However, the Mutas versus the Marines, I'm not sure if there are enough Marines to take out this Muta force. They are going to take out a lot of them, but there, all the Marines go down. This base is going to go down, and here comes the Nidus Worm with the purple player's army. He's going to come out here. He's going to wreak havoc, and these guys are in a lot of trouble. I think the orange forces have been completely taken out. The teal has a bit of forces. There we go. He's got some Corruptors, but Corruptors versus Mutas, not the best of options. He's got some Broodlords, but they have nothing to attack unless they go down here. He's got to get them down here. He could definitely help ward off this purple force, but they're just sitting there, not really doing anything at this point. Get your bloody Broodlords down. There we go. They start moving down. And together with some nice storms from our yellow player, I think this push is going to be fested off. and these corruptors actually doing a fairly good job at taking out the mutants, so that's fine. We're going to have this force coming in, taking out the... this is actually now the official expansion of the yellow player, because the green player took this expansion, which the yellow player had before. So that was a bit of a... little bit of a team backstabbing going on there. But anyway, what can you do in a team game? So yeah, we've got this force going very nicely. Upgrades are looking fairly good. Who had the 3 upgrades going on here? So that was this player. He's basically going just for high Templar, and he is looking very good as far as the upgrades go. But he's not looking very good as far as the economy goes. He really needs to get another hatchery up, and unfortunately, this green player has taken what was his expansion before. So I think the yellow player is doomed to a life of poverty in this game, and that is going to be unfortunate. So here we go, these Tempests going to come in, but the blink, and that's going to see all of these guys go down. Some nice storms going in there. It's going to chase these guys away. They do not like these storms. They may back out, they may wait for their shields to regenerate and then come in again. But he knows that these storms are in here now, and he's got to watch out for them. These corruptors just not really doing too much, but these broodlords are providing a pretty good job at pushing these guys away. This guy's going to try and move in. He takes out that mothership core very nicely. I don't think this is the time to move in. I really don't think it is. We'll see what happens. Over here we have a small attack. Terran's trying to move in, but these Void Rays are going to clean it up without too many problems, with the Mutalisk assisting there. The Tempest continuing to move. Their crap damage is being made up for by their very long range. They're doing a very good job here. I'd like to see a move here and just start sniping off workers, but he's not going to try and do that at the moment. He's going to push ahead with the main army. These High Templars, there's about 10 of them now. That's pretty scary, with all, and most of them have still got more than half energy. He's going to go in there and he's going to get some storms off on these workers. And look at this spot right there. If he storms that, oh my god, that is just absolutely horrendous, the amount of workers that is going to die. Of course, taking the Nexus down is going to not help that plan a little bit, because now the workers are all over the place. So anyway, still going to take out a lot of workers. I think the Swarm Hosts and Broodlords and all these guys are going to wipe out the remaining workers. These workers are going to get down. The red player's like, nah, I don't want any of that. I do not want to go into that mess. It's too much for me. Although he is going to get about 8 more Stalkers. Is he going to go in, or is he going to try for a counter? See, maybe he's going to try for a flank, or maybe he's just going to go straight for the opposing base. I do not know, but right now it looks like he's given these players up for dead. He's going to get the reinforcements here. So the Team 2 down here does know that the red player is going to move in and try and do a counter on their own bases, so they are going to have to worry about that. Meanwhile, the orange Terran, is he going to go in again? No, he is not. He's got 3 weapons, so that looks fairly impressive, but he's not going to try and move in. The red Protoss going to move in here. He's got 2-1, so he's looking fairly good. He's going to do a large amount of damage here, but I think these guys might be a little bit further in. Although, here we go. Here's this force. Void Rays. If they overcharge and they take out those Corruptors, then I think they could do a very decent amount of damage here. These are not massive units, so the Tempests do not do a large amount of damage to them. They're going to run away, though. They're going in, they're going out, they're going in, they're going out. Go on, take out the Corruptors, take out the Broodlords, start focusing on the carriers. Although, eventually numbers are just going to take you out. And, unfortunately, he took out the Corruptors, which were arguably the most useless unit in that army, because they were only good against air units, where the rest were just taking out ground. So we've got a bunch of Marines and Thors. They're going to try and take out this force. They're going to be able to take out this group here, but this main group, I don't know. I do not know if the Terran can handle this large group of Stalkers, and I have a feeling that he is going to get completely wiped out here. Meanwhile, this attack going on over here, they're basically just wiping out the base. These guys really don't have much to deal with it anymore. Look at this army. The Thors are putting up a terrific fight. They're going to go in. He's putting down some mules to repair the Thors, but a couple of Ultras in from our purple player is just going to seal the deal on these units. And there we go. So that's it for that army. And I think, yeah, I think that these guys are going to lose. I mean, the Stalkers, if he brings the Stalkers back, I think he probably could wipe out this army. But yeah, maybe not. I mean, these Stalkers are just getting whittled down over and over and over again by these forces down here. The Ultras are trying to help, but no, I don't think it's going to happen here. The problem is he's lost his production capability and he's lost his income. So the Stalker army is pretty much all he has left. And if these guys are unable to do anything, then I think it's game over. But here we go. Here's the Void Ray and the Mutaforce. They've kind of just been chilling back and letting their allies get destroyed, but now they're like, holy crap, they're getting close to our base, maybe we should do something. I gotta say personally, I do not like guys like this, guys that just sit back while the army is coming in, because, I mean, if you have a decent army, you should just go in there and you should just do something. And look at these guys, they're just wiping this floor with these guys. And if you did this 5 minutes earlier, you could have saved most of the production facilities here. And yeah, really, just not a fan of this tactic, but they did eventually come in there and save the day. However, the purple player has left, and the red player is mostly destroyed. So I think the delay on the part of the teal and the blue player really may have cost the game for Team 1 over in this top right side. But here we go, he's got to wipe out these guys. Really, what it comes down to is, can the teal player and the blue player move in and start doing some major damage? Can they take out the other guys? And that is the question, because they have to do it with this army. And if they can do it with this army, yeah, so this guy is just, I'm going to be honest, he's pissing me off right now, because if your allies getting attacked, you go in there with whatever forces you have, and you try and stop him. Just slow him down. You don't wait and let him get taken apart while you try and build up more forces, because yeah, he could have done a lot of damage even without this amount of Void Rays. But anyway, he's got to go in there, he's got to take out some forces, and he should be able to just wipe through most of what what Team 2 has down here. However, these guys are going to go in there. He's going to take out this base. So that is going to completely ruin this red player's last source of income, but I don't think, and he did a fantastic job through the entire game with this Stalker force, but I don't really think he's going to be a major factor in this game anymore. He's done what he needs to do, and he lost most of his base, and now it's up to the blue Protoss and the teal player to take out the rest of these guys, and I think they are going to manage to do it, simply because they have an overwhelming army. So look at 7, 6... Basically, they're just going to go in and wipe everything else. And I am going to keep harping on about this, because I see it in 4v4s, and I really don't like it. But these guys built up their army because they sat back and just macroed and just built up, and didn't help all that much while the enemy forces were wasting time taking out their allies. So he spent a large amount of time taking out these guys, wiping them out. I think the blue Protoss did send a small force in, 7, 8 Void Rays or something like that. And then we saw the forces were too much for him, he just bailed. Which, you know, you can't say that's a horrible decision, but really, I mean, waiting until you get this many and just going in there, I'm really not a fan of it. But anyway, they are going to wipe out all the bases here. I don't think there's much that these guys can do. If we have a look at the resources tab, the blue Protoss is really the only guy with that many minerals left, that many resources left, so these guys just not able to produce much, and they're pretty much saying, well, this is a GG at this point, it can't really do much. Anyway, this is going to be a fantastic game. Well, I don't like it so much at the end, but overall, in the middle of the thing with the Stalker play from the red Protoss, I really like that Stalker play. I like the High Templar play from a yellow player, and all the other guys just doing a fantastic job. These two, I'm not a fan of. This guy did some very nice play with his Roach Hydra army, and he also went in there with Ultras and the end game, and he was really doing some good work alongside the red Protoss, just going in there and just trying to do some damage right at the end. The big Stalker army, he could have tried to defend this, and with the help of these two guys, I think they could have pushed him off. But he wasn't getting any help, and I don't know if that's why he didn't go in, but he just decided instead to go in and attack. He took out these two bases, so he did some pretty good work, and I think that was an excellent decision not to go in and face that army by himself, but instead to go down there, and he got a bit of support from the purple player. Although the purple player may have left at that point, and maybe the red player was controlling his units, I cannot remember. But anyway, it was a good job. And these guys, they did pretty well. And the yellow player, he went for a fairly good ground army, but they kept getting wiped out again and again. Eventually he went for High Templars, and he did put them to some use, but I still would have liked to have seen him go for a more diverse army than just High Templars, because he got some very good storms off. But yeah, it wasn't stupidly effective as it would have been if he had a ground army. But of course, losing this base and then having it taken by the green Protoss set him back quite a large amount, so that was not good. Look at how he actually put a Nexus down eventually. He was trying to mine this, I think, but this just didn't work out. Green Protoss, he went for straight up for Void Rays. He did a pretty good job. He made some fairly good attacks in the mid game, but yeah, eventually, and he was doing some pretty good damage up here. But yeah, eventually these guys just came in. This is a superior army and just wiped him out. So kudos to him as well. The orange Terran really kept the pressure up on this side. Most of the action was happening over here, but he was getting in here. He was taking out some bases, he was taking out some workers. Most of the time he was relatively unsuccessful, but he kept the pressure up, and that's good. The pink Zerg, he was good at keeping up some pressure as well. He had lings everywhere. The only bad thing I can say about him is his tech choices. Going for Brood Lords, they didn't really do the damage he had. He was doing some damage here, but he was in a group with other players, and I don't think solo his army could have really done anything. He only had 4 Brood Lords, and he had about 10 Corruptors or so it's not bad. It's not a bad force against something like Void Rays or something like that, but against the ground force, they're just going to get annihilated. So yeah, I don't like his tech choice into Brood Lords. He didn't really have the economy to go hard. You need to be able to go hard and get like 12 Brood Lords, 12 Corruptors, and just go up from there, because you need a massive amount of Brood Lords to be able to defeat a ground army. And I mean, the red Stalkers, they could have just wiped out the Brood Lords. If the Brood Lords and the Corruptors were just coming in there by themselves, the Stalkers would just wipe the floor with them. But they had the support of the Void Rays and the Carriers and Tempest from the green play. He actually did some pretty nice Tempest play here. He's definitely using the range to make up for the damage. He did some nice damage to Stalkers, he did some nice damage to buildings. I think he may have done some nice damage to workers, but I'm not sure. But it was a good play by him anyway. He went Carriers right at the end, which I'm not sure I agree with, but hell, it's 4v4, you know. Might as well try it if you feel like you're going alright, and if you've got the still got the Void Rays to work with. But yeah, end of the game. Congratulations to Team 1 over there. And this has been Hairy Muppet, and I hope you enjoy this 4v4 game. If you like me casting 4v4 games, please let me know. This was like a silver gold level, I believe, based on the league the players were in. Only one was silver, so the rest may have been masters for all I know, but I don't think they played like masters, so we're going to assume that they aren't. But anyway, if you like the 4v4 games, please let me know, either by tons of likes or by comments or whatever. And of course, if you liked this video or any of my other videos, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Hairy Muppet.